Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Wednesday night edition of the Man United Agenda. Me hosting Mr. B. I'm on the Juna. I must start again. I'm on the
Not tuna,
Juma.
Juma.
I'm on the Juma. We've got Pat Lawless, our regular, and we've got Carl from the Glory Glory podcast. Carl, we'll get to you in a second. Just let me get these titles rolling. Look, I'm used to talking to you on Monday, and I'm used to talking to you, Pat. Kyle, how are you, sir?
I'm good, and it's good to be on the agenda for the first time.
Oh, you're busting your cherry tonight, are you? How you doing anyway, man? How you doing, bruv? How you doing? How's this freezing cold Wednesday treating you?
Yeah, it's absolutely Baltic outside, and you could fall at any moment if you go out walking, which has happened to me. I've injured my knee already, but you just have to get on with it.
Oh, listen to yourselves. Sending hugs from the agenda and the agenda massive. Don't worry about that, man. Don't worry. Amanda, how you doing? Smiling, man. I know you've just come in from football. How you doing?
Yeah, just had a five-a-side league. We won 7-5, I think, in the end. Few arguments, but that's what it's all about. I'm getting old, so I had to let the youngsters play, and done a few clever things, as you do. But it's not about me. It's not about me. You know what? I just want to say big up to Kyle as well. Make sure you can subscribe to the Glory Glory podcast. I'm subscribed, and anyone watching this channel should subscribe as well because we're one big community. So that's Glory Glory podcast. Big up to Kyle, man. Lovely to see you here.
Thank you very much.
Amanda, were you lying down in front of the goal in the five-a-side way?
You'd think so, wouldn't you? You'd think so. I'm good with my feet. I might be big, but I'm good with my feet. And we're playing a young team, full of energy. And I was doing the old holding them off like that,
Feet,
playing to our feet. They couldn't get around. They couldn't work it out. How do we get around this guy? But they learned a few lessons today.
Oh, God bless you. Pat, I can hear that look cough. I'll just let you know, guys. Halfway through the chat, if Pat Mike suddenly mutes and he starts doing this, then you know he's coughing and he's really, really struggling. Pat, I hope you get through the show today, man. Honestly, bro.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm not just looking down to drink me water or have a little dish or anything like that. I'm just gonna mute me mic and sneeze off camera.
Yeah, it could look like something a lot worse, to be fair.
Yeah, that's it. But no, great to be on tonight, lads, and it's great to have Kyle on. So let's do this.
Right. Oh, I see. I'm gonna get in trouble. Word from our sponsors before we go any further.
No problem. As you know, Man United Agenda, we're sponsored by Glory. Well, I was going to say Glory, Man United. Global Mapping Surveys. And if you ask them what they do, they assist architects, property developers, and construction companies all over the country. They offer a wide range of services such as setting out topographical surveys, 3D laser scanning, and monitoring. And the link will be in the description, guys. So check them out. It's Global Mapping Surveys.
Right, guys. A little bit of news broke late last night, early this morning about Jadon Sancho not being physically or mentally fit, and obviously Ten Hag had sent him away to Holland. I had assumed it was more to get him up to speed physically. Obviously the mentality part has come in, and that's probably shone a different take on maybe what my opinion was about Sancho. Obviously, if he is suffering mentally, hopefully he does get well soon. But guys, what do you think of the situation with Sancho? Do you think it's the pressure of playing for Man United that's got to him, or do you think that it's something a little bit deeper? Kyle?
It seems to be a loss of confidence, but also I would say there's a personal issue as well that we don't know about. I think Ten Hag is handling it very well. He sent him off to Holland to train with coaches that he knows, and he's not going to bring him back into the first team picture until he feels that he's physically and mentally ready. Someone like Mourinho probably would have banished Sancho at this point, but I think Ten Hag is handling it very well and giving him every opportunity to get fit, fit and healthy, mentally and physically, and I think he wants him to succeed. And I think Sancho is an extremely talented individual, and as I'm sure everybody here knows. So it'd be beneficial to everyone if he gets back to his top form that he showed at Dortmund and he showed in spells at United. So yeah, I think Ten Hag has handled most things very well so far, and he's handling this one very well, I think, too.
Omundi?
Yeah, I mean, this is a really good topic to talk about because we have to speculate. To be honest, we have to speculate what's going on. As Carl was saying, we don't actually know what. There must be some sort of personal reasons why he's there. Obviously, as we know, they went to a warm weather training camp in Cadiz in the nice southern Spain, and everyone went but Sancho. So I want to give props to the manager because, like as Carl was saying, another manager might have just not dealt with it the right way. Something's up, and he's trying to fix the problem. I think it's more mental. When you're playing this sort of level, we should think, oh, you've got it all. You've got the money, you've got the girls, you've got the clothes, you've got the tattoos or whatever. It's not about that. You have to sort of have a better perspective on what's really going on with football. He's now at the pinnacle. You can't get any bigger than Manchester United Football Club. He's at a big club. He has to start representing. And whatever's going wrong with him, as we've seen with his form, something going on behind the scenes, but it's translating onto his form as well. We're seeing him not really doing it. Now, I like him as a player. I think he's doing all right. I just think we haven't really played to his strengths. I think a lot of people these days think wingers should be like Kanchelskis or Giggs, bombing down the wing. And if he's not doing that, something's wrong. But I like his game. I like the way he plays. He's a winger sort of like Grealish, not blessed with electric pace, but uses the ball well, brings in other teammates, plays little sharp 1-2s, plays around the corner, that kind of thing. And we need to sort of adapt to his sort of game, in my opinion, because we're so used to these running, Steve Coppell, Kanchelskis, Lee Sharp, all these guys burning down the wing, and that's what unintelligent fans want to see. We need to appreciate this guy. He's a gem of a player. There's no point trashing him. Let's get behind him, support him, and get him mended and get him well again, because he will be a major asset for us with the ability he's got. It wasn't so long ago Neymar was endorsing him and saying this guy's fantastic. We've seen what he did in the Under-17 World Cup for England in the group stages. He was the best player in the whole tournament. They went on to win it. But he was the most outstanding player for his age group, And that's over Phil Foden and other guys as well, and Andrew Gomez. So this is a guy who's got loads of abundance of talent, but with the mental side of things, as we've seen in the past with Greenwood, with Mason, Ravel Morrison, even with Pogba, you have to be on point. And it's great that the manager has sent him away to wherever he's gone, to Mindhead or whatever. If you've seen Bowfinger, you know what I'm talking about, Mindhead. Something to fix up his head and get his confidence back. And hopefully he'll come back restored and a better player for it. So big up to Ten Hag for that.
Pat.
Fair play, lads. That's very good observation from both of you. And this is testament now to Erik ten Hag and how he's handling the situation. He's just been taken out of spotlight. He's over in another country. He's working on his own rehabilitation. He's had trouble off the field. He's had a loss to the family. And you can hit the lows as quick as you can hit the highs. That's just life in general. So I'm very happy with the way this is being handled. And to be quite honest, I had a feeling there was something up. And I think we all did. Because he was so good in pre-season training. He was linking up play. He was smart. He was some of the players he was doing in pre-season. Him, Martial, Rashford, all the lads, some nice football they were playing. And then all of a sudden, he was just playing like he wasn't fit. But a fella just doesn't become unfit overnight. It was like his head wasn't right. He wasn't thinking. He was just out on the pitch. And it felt like there's something wrong here. Erik ten Hag did not just take him out of that team because there's nothing wrong with him. He probably felt it was going to hinder him if he had left him in the team anymore. And he said, the World Cup's coming up. Maybe we'll take him out of spotlight if he doesn't go to the World Cup, and this is what we're going to do. And you know what? The respect that Jadon Sancho is going to have for Erik ten Hag, if this works out now, will be tenfold.
There's just a couple of guys in the chat. I've got another couple of questions to ask you guys before we change the subject. Omundi, could you just go through some of these messages for me?
Yeah,
please?
for sure. Obviously, we want to say hi to Eddie. He's always endorsing us. Go and check out Eddie Football Waffle. Zoe Media House, how you doing? And Zoe, I saw your question you asked about the financial thing. We will be tackling that very soon. She asked that in the previous show. I want to say hi to Ben Alcock. How you doing, man? Nice to see you. Proper red with your flag there, with your badge. Matthew Bassett
Thanks.
and Mark Edmund as well. Big up. Hope you guys are doing. Obviously, Mark Edmonds from Australia, so it's good morning from him. Stumpy, how you doing? Honorary Moroccan, he's sad tonight. Obviously, as you guys know, they got knocked out today. I think it was 2-0 or 3-0 in the end. Not sure. I want to say hi to Jay. We saw you yesterday, Jay. Big up. He's saying Sancho got caught up in a terrible season for all concerned. Erik ten Hag takes him out of the spotlight, get his head back in the game, and bring him back into the fold. That's a great statement there. Like that. Emma Kay, how you doing? She said he's been through a lot in the past season, on and off the pitch. This is good from Ten Hag, giving Sancho some time out while he was still saying, I believe in you, and he'll be back to his best. Lovely comments here, guys. Zoe Media House saying footballers are people first, and the way the club and Ten Hag have backed Sancho shows the right attitude. And then finally here, she's saying Sancho is still young, and if he needs 1 year to help him out, then so be it. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Thank you. Sorry, Mr. B. Can't hear you.
Yeah, really.
Your lip syncing is fantastic. I must say. You're really impressive, tonight.
Obviously, people who know me know my mouth is a bit what it is. If it's something, just to throw it out there, if the mental side of this wasn't added to Sancho's not physically fit for the season, would it have changed your mind on your opinion of Sancho? You guys here in the chat and you guys on the channel. I just think the mentality, please don't come at me, but when mentality is used as a reason for troubles now, I'm not going to say there's nothing wrong with him. I'm just asking, would your opinion of the Sancho situation have been different, Kyle?
You're putting me on the spot now. Possibly, yeah. I think we go a bit more easier on people when we know if we think they have mental health struggles. Like we mentioned earlier, he's had a bereavement in the family quite recently. Was there also someone else was sick in his family after that? I'm not sure, but there definitely does seem to be personal issues going on there, and that's definitely at least 50% of the reason why he's not performing. But yeah, to come back to your question, yeah, we probably would be less lenient if he was just physically unfit. But there's obviously more to it than that.
But one thing, Kyle, what you reckon? Is you think it's because the young players can't get away from it these days with the social media as well? There's bigger price tags. There's a lot more pressure on these days.
You could be right there, Pat, because he blacked out his social media about 3 weeks ago, didn't he?
Yeah.
He took down everything off his Instagram.
It's too much for these young lads. It's they take it home with them. They wake up at night, they're looking at it. They go to bed, they're looking at it. It's too much, and then the money. Like he comes in, he's probably our second, third most expensive player.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when he's had like a bad game and he's reading the comments on Instagram, it probably hurts, because people can be, quite ruthless out there online.
It's not like the old days, Kyles, where you pick up a newspaper and go, geez, they're slating me in the newspaper. There's 100,000 people wanting to slate you every day,
Yeah, rather than one journalist, it's now 100,000 people, yeah.
You know something, guys. I think when I look at Sancho, there's a couple of factors that. Obviously, I'm only speculating here, but he was at Man City and he was one of the most promising guys coming through. I remember Taylor Richards, Phil Foden, and him were the same age group coming through the club. I thought all three of them would actually make it. Taylor Richards is now QPR on loan from Brighton, and Phil Foden, you know what he's doing. But something went wrong there with Pep, and Pep is a taskmaster, so that sort of left a little question mark about things. What he really wanted. He went to Dortmund. He was a success out there, played it well, and his stock went up. He's come to Man United now, and I don't like the tattoos, and I don't want to see Instagram him raving and posing and all that kind of thing. I want to see someone like Paul Scholes settling down and focus on your football. And I think it's a case. I'm just speculating once again here. That's all I can do. I think it's a case of someone sat him down and said, "Look, bruv, you need to. You've got so much talent. You're drifting away. He's had so much so young, and he's always been gifted, kind of spoon fed wherever he's been. And I think this is good for him because you need to take away. Look at Raheem Sterling, for example. That's another young player. He's taken that all away. Got married. He settled down, and he became a really good player for Man City. and that's why Pep loved him and that's why he stayed. You know, but I just think we need to see a bit more professionalism. I think it's down to being a bit more professional from Sancho and to ignore the social media, like you're saying here, ignore the posing up, showing your watch, going to Dubai, that sort of lifestyle. Because we see that with Pogba, all that kind of. It's great. People like that. You know, people want to do that. But if you're not performing on the pitch, then people will ask questions. And like Pep said, whatever happened with Pep? Pep didn't fight to keep him. The same like Alex Ferguson didn't fight to keep Pogba first time around. There was something there that they didn't like, and I think sometimes they can be, in the long term, can be proven right. But I hope it gets fixed, because I do think it is a temperament, a professionalism, a character defect that he needs to sort out to be more professional and realise he has to seize the day and seize the moment at Man United Football Club.
Yeah, and like someone says in the comment, I was going to bring that up, that his goals this season have all come from central areas, and many of his goals last season as well. So there's an argument that maybe his best position for United is more of a false nine, or playing as a second
Number
striker
10.
rather than playing on the wing. Yeah.
Oh, Kyle, I think you need to come on the show a little more often. I'm sure I've been talking about this on Monday. I'm sure we've had this conversation, haven't we?
Look, I'm not having this. Like I said earlier in the show, just because he's slow and he's not bursting down the wing doing that thing, people think, oh, he can't play that, he can't play him central. Yes, he's talented enough, he can play central, but you don't see Grealish in those positions. Grealish plays out wide and they keep possession of the ball. They've got good turnover of the ball, and because of the side play to people's strengths. We need to adapt. We're in a transition now, and to get the best out of these players, we need to adapt. They got a guy called Tadic at Ajax. He's not fast. He's just technically good and uses fullbacks, overlapping fullbacks, underlapping fullbacks, and players coming in and creates good possibilities with the ball in the final third. And I think Sancho's more than capable of doing that. I've seen it all the time. He never has a bad game for me because he does the right thing. He's got good decision making. And this is something Rashford has added to his game, which is why Rashford's doing really well at the moment. I think he's taken what Sancho's got and said, let me add that to my game. Good decision making, little 1-2s, pop it off. I don't need to burst all the time. So I still think Sancho is a winger or a wide man, but I just think the side needs to utilize him better and sort of adapt to this style of play, to have more possession. And I think we're taking steps towards that.
Any of you guys got anything to say about the Sancho situation before we drift on to something else? Anything you want to get off your chest, Pat? Anything you want to get off your chest, Kyle?
I'm going to stay on the Omundi here and stay on Omundi's side, all right? I'll let you and Kyle stay on your side tonight. Don't be upsetting Omundi anymore.
You got, Kyle, is there anything else you want to say about the Sancho situation before we drift on?
Oh, I would say it's going to be difficult for Sancho to play on the left for United going forward, because as everyone knows, Garnacho has been sensational, and Rashford predominantly plays on the left, and he's playing well this season. So if Sancho's going to start for United in a wing position, it's going to have to be on the right, isn't it?
Or does he?
Anthony's position.
Or does he become Bruno's competition?
Yeah.
I mean, look, this is where Ten Hag is going to have to make his money. He's going to have to earn his money. He will. We have to trust him to find the right position for Sancho, whether it is in Holland, getting himself sorted, or on the bench for United. I'm hoping it doesn't take too long for him to get himself sorted, to be fair.
Well, we've seen Didier Deschamps come up with a new position for Griezmann in this tournament, and it's worked out wonderfully. I wonder can Ten Hag create a new position for Sancho? I'm just speculating, of course, but we'll see what happens.
This is the kind of speculation that we like on the Manchester United agenda, to be fair. These are the kind of dreams and things that we talk about. I mean, look, if he could move position, that would be great. But he's got to get himself. He's got to start again. He's got to get his head right first. I think the fact that Ten Hag said there's no rush and he doesn't know when he's going to be back, nobody's going to really be looking now. Sancho's going to be out of it now. Sancho will be out of the way. I think it's just going to be. We'll hear about him when he's ready to start playing again. So hopefully we don't hear nothing for a couple of weeks. Nothing drastic comes out that will make us change our mind on the whole situation. And God willing, he's back to the Sancho that we want him to be, and the one who was at Dortmund. And look, if he's not, I'm sure Ten Hag will fuck him off with the rest of some of the rest of the trash that we've got at the club. To be fair,
Everybody gets a chance.
yeah. Well, look, you've got this is the good thing is he's giving them the chance. My situation was always they've got the shirt and then they play themselves out of the team. So there's a few who have played themselves out of the team, but let's be honest. I think Ten Hag has improved. You've got to say every player in our squad. To be fair, we had 16 at the World Cup. We've got one definitely going to win. Is definitely going to win Is definitely going to win a medal in Martinez of Iran. So look, let's not get it twisted. He's done a very, very good job.
And just to add as well, if you're Sancho and you're 22 years old or 23 or whatever he is, you've got another 4 years to wait to the next World Cup. He should have been smashing it right now. If he would have played good well, if he would have got himself together, he would have been there on the plane playing at a tired stage right now. And I think that must be making him sad because he's missing the opportunity. You see him players, he probably thinks, I can do that. I can be as good as these guys, you know? So we need to encourage him and get him back on form because him on form, on fire, like we did at Dortmund, get him that sort of output from him would be like a great thing for the club. And I think as a wide man or whatever, it's about squad rotation, that kind of thing. There's so many great players in these positions now. As you were saying, he's going to have to fight for his place. But once he gets in there, I think he's good enough. Gives us a different option to Garnacho and Rashford. And so that's a positive thing for Man United Football Club.
I tell you what's not positive for Man United Football Club, Omundi. A little bit earlier on, obviously we know our financial situation. We blew a shitload of money in January that we didn't expect. I'm not going to say to you that it wasn't needed. We spent a whole load of money in January. Obviously now with Sancho, the Sancho situation being what it is, and Ronaldo throwing the biggest hissy fit in the history of hissy fits. It's Dharma Chef earlier on had a little, where's it gone? Had a little tweet. Can you read that, Mondi?
Yeah. So Man United made no signings in January due to FFP restrictions. That's the headline here. So Dharmesh Schiff, sorry, I'm butchering his name, but you know who he is from Sky Sports. He said, Man United looking at forwards, including Cody Gakpo and right backs, but significant chance no income in January. Right back incoming likely depends on Wan-Bissaka's future. United conscious of complying with FFP regulations, loan market being explored too. That's from Dharmesh Shiv from Sky Sports.
Right. Before we go any further, what in God's name is going on with this now? We hear last week that the Glazers aren't going to take any dividends out. What to do, everybody said. Now 4 days later, we're hearing that FFP could halt our January spending. Big issues, Kyle. Talk to me.
Yeah, I wonder, is this just another excuse from the owners not to spend money in January? I thought personally that they wouldn't have an issue with spending money in January because they're on the verge of selling the club, so they could just lump the money onto the debt that the new owner will have to take on. But seemingly not. Sky Sports and Dharma Chef in particular seem to be a pretty good source of information. So and maybe the club are just briefing this just to kind of dampen expectations in case nothing happens. But yeah, it doesn't. It definitely puts doubts in our minds that we're going to sign a striker in January. Interesting. I think it was Rob Dawson from ESPN said that that United were looking at the potential of taking João Felix on loan with an obligation to buy if Atletico were willing to do that deal. Would any of you be willing to take João Felix in January on loan with an obligation?
Of course. I think listen, that's perks me right up, to be fair. I was sitting down there thinking, oh God, if that's a deal that could get done. I mean, João Felix is somebody who the club looked at in the summer. By all accounts, he hasn't worked under Oh, what's his bloody manager's name? Atleti.
Diego
Simeone.
Simone.
Yeah, Simeone. But we know Simeone is defensive first and attacking second. So
I think
if if it's an obligation to buy one, it keeps him out of Arsenal's hands because we know they're going to be looking for something at the moment with Jesus being out and them being top of the league. I mean, if there's something that can be done, I would take it. Omundi, I saw a little smile on your face there.
Look, my thing, I'm supporting the manager every time. I just think he needs to build slowly, take baby steps towards the goal. We're talking about Felix because he's available. We know that he's falling out with the manager. What's the reason? Are we going to take on another player who's got personal issues or character default? Are we? Because there's obviously something wrong. If you can't get on with Simeone, he's a taskmaster and a disciplinarian, then there's something wrong. Kieran Trippier's come back from Atletico Madrid, a much better player, and he's raving about how much he's learned out there. And he's going to be a manager. Everyone's talking about him being a manager now, just from his experience playing under Dave Simeone. So I just don't think just because he's available doesn't mean and he's a big player. That's going along the old school way, the old way, which has led to trouble for us. Get players, marquee players, because they're available and it will please the fans and that kind of thing. No, if he doesn't suit our system, if he doesn't suit us, there's no point buying him. And he's also one of these guys is he a number 10? Is he a striker? I don't think he's found his position. And I'd like to know what his best position is. When he was at Benfica, I used to think he was like a number 10, playing off the striker sort of thing. But I've seen him play quite high up the pitch. And even for Portugal, playing in a 2. He's been playing with Ronaldo and the other guy recently. So I like him as a player, but I only want him if that's our target. And we've been seeking him for a long time. If it's just a case of, he's available, let's get him on loan, that's just... We're taking steps back. I just want to get players because look at Juve. Juve got financial problems. Are we going over after Vlahovic, their left-footed striker? He's a beast of a striker. He's someone to look at. But is it just because he's available? I just want to get players in. I respect these guys. They're ballers. Love them. But I want to get players in that suit our model going forward, not just because of the availability side of things.
Yeah, Ten Hag signings have all been fantastic so far. So I trust him on anyone he wants to bring in. Whoever Ten Hag tends to get it right. So if he wants Felix, if he wants Gakpo or Vlahovic, then I 100% back the manager on it because he's proved already that he gets it right in the transfer market.
So my only problem with Felix at the moment is Felix is currently sitting on a nice hefty wage of €285,000 a week at the moment. There's not a lot of clubs in Europe besides the likes of PSG who are financially sound to take that kind of wage at the moment. And the problem we are going to have with that is that if he comes to Manchester United, 285,000 roughly equates to about £245,000 sterling, which is more than our captain Bruno Fernandes is being paid at the moment. So straight away, that's going to upset the apple cart. So it would have to be assessed financially if he's going to come to Manchester United. Is he going to get paid the full wage on a loan deal? Will it be part and let go pay some of his wage if they find it too much? Do I like Felix? Yeah, I do. He reminds me, he's some attributes that are similar to Luis Figo. He's like the left-sided player of a 3 up front. He bombs down that left, but he also cuts in on his right-hand side into the half space, and he will destroy any goalkeeper taking a shot on goal in the half space. He's lethal at it. And he's done it to us twice in the last 2 times he played us. Mm-hmm. So he has got it, but he doesn't have anything. If Eric Ten Hag's happy with him, as Omundi said, I'm happy with him. But I don't think the wages is going to set. It's going to the wages will be a stumbling block if Manchester United are taking him on loan.
Do you think the wages would be a stumbling block though? Because obviously these players
last year no. This year I think it might be, yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, we just got rid of Ronaldo. That's like 500 grand a week. I don't think
it's not about the moolah, Omundi. It's about upsetting the players and who's on capital. So like Bruno Fernandes, he's on 240. Anthony De Santos 200. Marcus Rashford 200. And then our fourth superstar behind that would be Harry Maguire on 189,000. They don't want to be upsetting him now. Do you know what I mean? If he leaves, we're all stuck. So
Omundi's gonna slap you in the top of your head.
It's not about the weekly wage, lads. It's all about the empire Eric Ten Hag's building. If he wants to keep a cap or a wage until you prove yourself and you earn it, and then you come in and get it. No problem. I don't think you're gonna get it straight away. It's just me feeling, you know.
But
Sancho.
guys, going back to what the report says, that's saying that FFG issues and that kind of thing. We did spend a lot of money. That is granted. We did spend a lot of money, and I imagine that we would have kept Ronaldo for the rest of the season. But that's put a spanner in the works. We see Martial have injuries as well. So the question for me is, do we actually need to sign players in January or not? Or do we rely on the manager? And then obviously we're in a good position. We're just off the top four. That would be exceeded expectations, I imagine, because I know a lot of guys. I know Kyle, maybe before the season, you might have said, give it 3 or 4 transfer windows before we make a judgment. But we're in a good position. So do we actually strike while the iron's hot and we're playing well and give the manager what he wants and sacrifice our summer budget for something? Or do we sort of go along steady and just allow the coaching and the philosophy to develop in that way? Because I don't want to see these sort of, the window opens, we must spend. I don't think just because we're a big club, we must do that. What we must do is follow the philosophy of the manager and do what he wants. You look at Zidane, for example, Zidane Iqbal. I think the manager likes him. I've seen him in pre-season. The manager's all over him, and just now in the warm weather training camp and the games, well, he's all over him again. So that's a player that we can see development, something we haven't had at the club for a long time. Players being developed and improving. And not being stagnant on form. So I want to see more of that. And maybe we've seen Garnacho now. I'm not saying it's definitely down to the manager. He's always got that talent. But we want to see players come through. So it's a case of, do we balance it by bringing young players through and a few gems maybe could come in and cement their position? Or do we just go out and say, we're Man United, we're going to splash the cash and we don't care and just please the fans every time the windows opens? I don't know, but it'd be interesting to find out.
Well, it's not about... it is about Manchester United splashing the cash. But the big thing at the moment with the FIFA Fair Play is that it tends to stop clubs and spending more money than they're basically earning, all right? And this is preventing financial troubles and potential long-term survival for clubs. So basically, FIFA Fair Play is just not letting Manchester United and any other club go out and keep spending and run themselves into the ground. Now, this could be just a media twist because everybody knows we're in trouble at the moment. But it's not good either to be hearing about this kind of thing coming into January, you know?
Yeah, the issue for me is that we've seen the Milan teams get sanctioned by UEFA for breaking FFP rules, but City and PSG, what they get, a slap on the wrist. You know, we could draw our own conclusions as to why that was. I just think, because remember that whole case that was involving City last year, and they ended up, being found not guilty over FFP and financial irregularities. I just think if FFP is pointless now, if they're not going to punish teams for it. I don't think it's enforceable either, because legally you can't prevent a company or business from spending money. So I just think I think UEFA are trying to enforce laws that are not legal within the EU. So yeah, I know, went off a bit of a tangent there, but
no, you're right.
Yeah, I just don't think that FAP is enforceable, and I just think if they're not going to punish clubs for it, or can't punish clubs for it, then there's no point in even having that law anymore. So I don't know why United's even bother complying with it if you ever even going to punish certain teams.
So I'm going to guess here that we're all thinking like Jay over here, that this is a Glazier PR smokescreen.
Yeah, yep, it is. Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, that's what I had in my mind, to be fair, but I think I probably needed a little bit of confirmation, to be fair. My biggest issue at the moment is fourth place is there to be had. I'll be honest, I think first and second is there to be had for a certain extent. If we keep our form up, we don't know how Arsenal, how Man City, Liverpool are already behind us. Tottenham, we know what Tottenham are like. Let's not get it twisted. So I think, I'm not going to say we're going to win the league, but we've got a good chance of finishing higher than fourth. And I think it would be a shame if he wasn't backed by the club. The fact that we all hoping, touch wood, that the club's going to be sold in the summer. I mean, I'm hearing maybe March to a certain extent, but I would like to think that something can be done to keep us in that position, because if we get Champions League, I think it opens the corridor, one, for not having to force players to come. We don't necessarily have to go out there with our begging bowl and bigger wages. They'll come for Champions League football. We don't have to offer them Europa plus an extra 50 grand a week. So I'm hoping that I'm hoping that we do spend some money. Actually, no, it's a lie. I hope we get the players that the club needs, whether we purchase them, we get them on loan, or we steal them, or they're from our youth team. I have total faith in what Ten Hag does or can do. I just hope that if he needs backing, he does get the backing from the club, and they're not really thinking, man, we're out of here in March. We ain't spending no more money on nothing.
So is your man's name Darmish Shitstore, or is it?
That's what she's called him. Sorry. But you know what? It's great to see that we're all disciples. It hasn't taken long. He's been there since June, the manager, and we've all converted to really love this guy. He's showing all the qualities of a top manager, and the way he dealt with Ronaldo, the way he sort of turned our form around, went on a 5-game winning streak. That we're starting to see people being professional now. The way he's dealing with Sancho, which we spoke about earlier. There's so many good things about this man. And especially his interviews as well. He's so stern. He said the right thing. And the same things about people like the confidence. He's talking about Harry Maguire the other day. It's about confidence. And it's true. He's always on the money. Whatever he says, everything he does. So I hope the players start getting behind him and believing him, and especially the club, as Mr. B was saying there, because we've got someone here now we want long-term. We do like long-term managers. And I think he could be like, if he's there for 4 or 5 years and you invest in this guy, I think he's got that determination and desire to really do well and to be his best. And I just want to endorse once again his book, which I'm reading at the moment, Eric Ten Hag. So I'm a big fan, and I think this guy can really take us far. And as he's proven already, we're on the cusp of a Champions League spot.
Well, the reason why I'm hoping Ten Hag is allowed to bring in a striker in January is because our goal difference is 0. It seems as if we're getting, when we lose, we get thrashed, and when we win by the odd goal. We've had a couple of blanks this season as well when we should have got 3 points. So I think we need another source of goals. So that's why I would like to see someone come in. I'm not sure. Like Rashford, for example, misses a whole lot of chances. Martial, you can't rely on to stay fit. So that's why I think we need to bring someone in. And obviously it has to be someone that Ten Hag has sanctioned.
Do you think we need to only bring in one? Now, obviously, Ronaldo's going. I think this Sancho situation opens up another issue. Guaranteed Martial has 3 more injuries before the season's finished. Touch wood, they're not long ones. But he's been shocking for us this season. Garnacho, it's his breakout season. As much as you would love him to be as good as he was, or have we seen him in every single game, at 18 years old, it's not going to happen. I mean, even peak players aren't playing superb every single game. I'm actually thinking we probably need 2. Cover for the left, and we definitely need a striker. That's the problem. Yeah, for the right. No, left.
Cover for the low.
Yes.
But we haven't even spoke about right back yet. I was more thinking about a centre forward and cover for the left. Oh shit, left and right. Oh my god.
No, we have Luke Shaw,
Malacia and Luke Shaw.
No, I'm talking about top. I'm talking about up top.
Oh right, yeah. Okay, yeah.
We got Garnacho, Marcus Rashford, and Martial.
You think that's going to be enough?
Yeah, I think we're covered there.
Yeah.
If anything, we might need a striker.
Elanga.
Yeah, Elanga's he's sub bench boy. But I think we got a left. Look, if we want that balance, we got a left-sided player in Anthony who's really. Everyone seems to be happy with him, I'm sure, what we're saying here. And we also, so to get another left-foot player there, to get that balance as an inside forward or whatever, I think that's something we could be looking at. We've got the guy at Sunderland at the moment, Ahmad, which we did spend a lot of money on. He's killing it. So that's someone who could possibly come in and do the business next season, maybe. We're not going to drag him back from loan. But I do think, as you say, Mr. B, right back is really important because we're saying Dalot's got injured and he's been run ragged. He's playing every game. Delighted for him because he's coming into form, starting to prove what a really good player he is. But we do need backup there and a bit of quality.
Anybody else?
I could change my mind. I could change my mind daily on this. Like, I would love to see somebody being brought in. I'd love to see a striker being brought in, only because I don't want Charlie McNeil being rushed into that squad because Ronaldo left. I think Zidane Iqbal is the most matured player to come in after Garnacho. If Ethan Laird was ready to play right back for Manchester United, it'd be the same scenario on the left-hand side. We wouldn't have signed Malacia when we already had Fernandes there. So I think it's the same with Laird. He just needs a bit more experience, and then he's going to get his chance. So I'd like to see somebody come in now that be able to take the weight off their low shoulders, and another striker. That's it. Midfield, I think we're good. We have Eriksen and the man Casemiro, and young Iqbal can step in there as well. So I think, well, don't upset Solo now. Don't upset the boss, man. So we have versatility in Fred, you know. But no, I think right back is just supporting right back, and a striker because we lost him. That's all.
Kyle, anything else you want to finish on?
Yeah. My first priority would be a striker, and then a cover for Delo, and then I'd leave the rest of the summer. You don't want to get too greedy in January anyway. You wouldn't expect to sign 5 players in January, so I'd be happy with a striker and a backup right back.
Did anyone see Gerardo playing those two friendlies recently? Any scout reports on Gerardo, guys? What do you think of him?
Is that our
right back, Spanish guy, right back?
Sorry.
On
Gerardo.
the ball,
yeah.
On the ball, I thought he was tidy. Off the ball, obviously, at that age, I think there was issues, but I didn't see him wasting any passes, to be fair.
And then we've got Fernandes as well. So media house is saying Fernandes left-footed left back as well. He's really promising. So
is he out on loan?
Yeah, he's still out on loan, I think. Sorry, Pat.
No, I was going to say Gerardo, the young Spanish lad, when he played there against Cadiz, they got stuck into him in the second half, but he didn't shy away from it, you know. So he was getting stuck in, but like that, it's a big step up. It's a big step up for these young lads to be chucked in straight away. I'd rather them see them get a loan spell before they start getting full-time cameos with expectations on their shoulders.
That's a good point, actually. It's the expectation part, and once they're in, we expect there to be no drop-off between obviously what Ten Hag's been doing already. And we'll see. Look, we'll see. Solo's on here. Yeah. Sorry, Omundi. Go on.
Interesting. Yeah, it's like you said, once you get into the first team, you've got to maintain it. That's the sort of pressure it being Man United. You've got Shotaya, or what his name is. A couple of years ago, he got into the first team. And everyone's buzzing, okay, new youngster, but he's gone backwards. He hasn't been able to establish that. That's going to kill his confidence because he's seen other guys below him, younger than him, like Garnacho, come in and sort of take that spot. So what's going to happen to him, for example? So if you are going to be pushed into the first team, and I think the manager's doing it really well, because I thought Zidane Iqbal would get games, senior football games, but he hasn't as yet. And I think if you do push someone in the first team, there's an expectation that you have to stay there. And maybe sometimes these people aren't mature enough already yet, as we saw against these La Liga sides, Betis and Cadiz. It was a good experience for these guys to get run out against proper senior men, and that's a good gauge for the manager to see where they're at. So I just think you've got to be careful with these youngsters, how you sort of bring them through.
Nurture.
That's the word.
Yes.
Nurture. That's the word. Anything else before we depart from here? Right, Kyle. Where can we find you? Hold on, let me get you on the beauty screen. Hey, where can we find you, big man?
On the Glory podcast, available on YouTube and Apple and Spotify and all the major podcast apps. Yeah,
guys,
and also on Twitter at Kyle7Quinn. This is on the screen there.
That's the one where you'll get the abuse from, Carl. 7 quid.
Always, yeah.
Omundi, as always, man, it's been a pleasure. I did see a little in there saying that you must have had your heating on today. Your face is looking nice and rosy. You're not shivering in your chair. So
that's what 5-a-side does for you.
5? What, you played 5, not 7s?
That's 5-a-side. It's a 5-a-side league we played just before I come in.
Jesus Christ.
So I'm rosy cheeked and nice and feeling good, yeah. But big up, Glory. Make sure you subscribe to Glory podcast, man. Let's big up
well.
Kyle. Yeah, man.
Done great tonight, buddy. Well done.
Pat, I really
Well done.
hope that you get those that runny nose sorted out, mate, and you get and you get
I'm
your
just
voice
sneaky,
back.
lads. That's all it is. Just sneaky.
Zoe Media House, yeah, you are right. Time has flown today. But guys in the chat, you know who we are. We're the agenda. I say it every time. You don't have to be here, but you are, and we thank you all for that. I'm Mr. B. I'm Omundi Juma, as always. Pat Lawless, and you know you're coming back on, Kyle. Kyle,
Absolutely.
he busts his cherry on the channel today, guys.
Big up,
But make it all worth it, man. Hit his subscribe button and get those followers up on his channel there. And look, you know he was a cool guy, so you don't even need to abuse him in the chat on Twitter. Guys, this was me, Mr. B. This was us, the Man United Agenda. We are out.